be kind enough to mute the audio, and I also request everyone to participate actively in this learning process. I don't believe in broadcasting, knowledge across the community by a single person. However, I just raise a couple of questions for you people, and as and when you feel like attending those questions, I wish you just unmute and see that there shall not be any noise in the background. Unmute your audios and then answer my questions, and you can raise also a couple of other questions for continuation of our discussion. And the moment you just complete, your answering or querying task, I wish you just suddenly mute your audios. Good morning to you all. I really feel it's my immense pleasure to be here as part of this faculty development program being organized by this HRDC with the support of University Grants Commission. And thanks to Dr. Ranjan Swami, who has extended an invitation to be a speaker here, and his nice introduction. So before I begin, talking on the research and its importance, and especially the difficulties in documenting the research activities, I want to make a couple of things more clear. Hello, somebody is recording phone number, please. Mute your audios. So hope the screen is visible.
Yeah, sir, visible, sir.
Okay. So the first thing that I want to make it clear is that my interest is just to take you all for a lengthy walk on a corridor labeled research and documentation. While taking you for a walk on this lengthy corridor, because it is more a philosophical corridor, my interest is just to let you know the various corners and avenues in this philosophical corridor without letting you to stay in any one of the corridors for a long time. However, if you feel like so, you can keep it reserved for, questionnaire session, which is generally being, planned at the end of my session. So the second thing that I want to clarify is that the slides which I prepared would suit every one of you, in the sense that probably I am addressing the gathering involving a couple of people who already are serving as supervisors guiding PhD students. That's the top level of personality I would visualize. Probably I can also I may be also addressing the people who just have completed their PhD and submitted the thesis and waiting for the VIVOS examination. And another level of intellectuals could be the people who just have started their PhD activities. And yet another could be of the people who are planning to appear for NET, PhD entrance examination, or KSET, or to become qualified to take up enrollment for PhD. And some other interesting personality could be the people who just have simply thought of dropping off PhDs in their life. So these are the different kinds of people probably I am addressing in this gathering. So irrespective of the level of abstraction of these people, I'm sure that my slides would suit every one of you, because you are basically a teacher. Throughout my lecture, I remember that I'm addressing teachers rather than research scholars. So that's the second thing just I wanted to make very clear. The number 3 is that, dear friends, I'm neither from the Department of Philosophy nor from the Department of Education. I'm very much from the Department of Computer Science, but in spite of it, I'm standing before you to talk on philosophical terminology called research. It is just because of the experience just I gained because of my personal research for the last roughly about 2 decades, and also because of wonderful research work carried out by my more than 20 students for the last 2 decades. So and that experience indeed speaks here for the next 3 years. So I wish you all make use of this, and then you also help me out in extending my knowledge on this philosophical corridor called research. And the last thing that I want to make it very clear is, look, in my lecture, probably I would be using two terminologies frequently. One is the term research, the other one is the term PhD. So though there is a significant difference between these two terminologies, because the research is a journey, I believe, and PhD is a byproduct of the journey. So for the amount of effort that you put in, because of the research work that you carried out for the 3 to 4 years, perhaps one of the other institution, university or the great institutions would reward you with a label called doctorate. That's what is called PhD. I mean, PhD for me, it is a byproduct of the research, which is a journey. Though there is a significant difference between these two terminologies, but in my lecture, I'm using them as if they are synonyms, as if they are interchangeably used. I mean, whenever I talk about research, you can understand that I'm talking about PhD. And if I talk about the quality of PhD by mentioning, specifically, then you have to understand that I'm talking about the quality of the research journey, right, on the other hand. So these are the things which I just wanted to make very clear. And before I go with a lengthy presentation of my talk, probably I just want to know your views on this philosophical term called research. How do you look at this term called research? What's your vision on this research or perception on research? At least a few of you, please. You can unmute your audios and then respond to this.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
This is Vandana from SGM Ujre.
That's fine. Just attend to this.
Sir, I feel that research is something like searching for a knowledge.
Okay.
Or we are going towards unknown to known.
Okay.
Or known fact to an unknown fact.
Fine. So as per this madam's view is concerned, research is something where we move from known to an unknown, or our ultimate target is to reach something which is unknown, acquiring more knowledge from a known knowledge, right? Okay.
This is Dr. Varun, sir, actually.
Okay, fine.
My view is, yes, sir. My view on the research is actually improving the skills of the particular persons. Excellent. And enhancing the capability to take the critical decision in the any times, whatever the situation will be there, they are capable to cope up the problem.
I appreciate that the research is to boost up your confidence so that you become capable of coping up with the reality. Yes. So irrespective, regardless of the situation that come across, if you are expected to exhibit your skill and knowledge, and the research is a process where you can improve your skill and knowledge so that you become so cooperative with the real-time environmental situations. Fine. Excellent.
Sir, Sangamash.
Fine then, please.
Sir, as the etymology of the word research says, research, or it is not only to the unknown, you can search something which is already known and get your ideas or views on it and different perspective on it, and you can come up with something novelty which is already existed.
Okay, so it is to look at something which is already existing, perhaps in a different perception, so that you can add up, it adds up a new dimension to the performance. Wonderful. Any other? Any other participant, please?
Yes, sir. Exploration of already
research is something to finding new knowledge.
Research is a process where you find some new knowledge. Okay.
Sir, research means finding new things, sir.
New things. Okay, finding new things, finding new knowledge, finding new things. Adding up a new dimension to an existing one, and then moving to an unknown from a known. Right. All in all, to improve the skill and capability to cope up with the reality. Wonderful. Fine.
Sir, research is a finding the solution for problems, sir.
Yeah. So it is a method of finding a solution to a problem in hand. Okay, good. Any other quick, different way of answering I am looking at?
Sir, extend word extend the things. The theories enhancement somewhere, sir. Devaraj.
Yeah, enhancing the existing theory, like, Pythagorean theorem is there. Those Pythagorean theorem has been extended towards, triangle with acute angle, obtuse triangle, and so on. That's also a research. Fine.
Creative and systematic study by using theories and going to a hypothesis.
Yes, a systematic way of understanding. That's also research. Fine. Good. I really feel happy receiving so many definitions for this, the term called research. Perhaps if I just give you some more time for about hours together, I'm sure that all of you would continue refining your definitions and seeing that you try to enhance, the beauty of the philosophical term called research. Even I don't have a clear-cut definition to define this is what is called research. However, if I'm given an opportunity, I can continue talking for hours together, even days together, elaboratively explaining what is this research all about, right? So probably whatever you all have given the definition, each definition is acceptable, each definition is correct, but none of them is alone a sufficient way of defining the term called research, right? If you can integrate all these together, right? Somebody said it is improving the capability and improving the knowledge, enhancing, our boosting up our confidence, and problem, is there, and finding out the solution to that, and finding something new so that I can move from known to an unknown. How wonderful if you can integrate all, assimilate all together into a catchy way of presenting it. Perhaps that paragraph could be a wonderful way of defining what is called a research, right? So that is what is the scope of the terminology called research. So on the other hand, if I just look at from a simple, mind in a simple way, perhaps I love to split up this research into two terminologies, re and search. Somebody said already, but look at re plus search. If a mathematician in case looks at said, then he loves to split it up into re plus search. Let's understand first what is called search, what is called search. If you understand what is called search, perhaps you end up understanding what is research, right? So search is a process of finding out something of my interest. Let me underline something of my interest. Search is to look at, I just have taken out my spectacle. Now I want to wear it back, then I go in search of the spectacle. Spectacle is an object of my interest. When I attempt to search for the object of my interest, I will not search in entire nation called India. I will not search for the spectacle in the entire Mysore city. I search for the spectacle only on my study table, right? And I preferably touch my pocket, shirt pocket on the shirt. If not available, then I go to the table. If not available on my study table, then I search in my entire office, right? Look at, when I attempt to search for or figuring out something of my interest, then I have to make what is really clear is called a scope. So when you attempt to search for something of your interest, then you have to clearly mention the two things. One is, what is your objective? What's your object of search? What are you looking for? What do you want to figure out? If you want to figure out something, then where you have to figure out, right? Where you have to figure out. Look at, when you wanted to pursue your faculty development program, being a faculty, and in one of the UGC sponsored institutions, you went on searching for HRDC, Human Resource Development Centers across India, right? Perhaps all Kannadigas perhaps wanted to search for that HRDC only within Karnataka, right? You must have made such an attempt to look for HRDC only within Karnataka. I mean, first you fixed up that you are looking for HRDC. You made up your mind to look for HRDC. That's the object of search. And number two, where I got to search. So, but on the other hand, the Biharians perhaps must have thought of, no, I should not look at only in Bihar state. So can I look at an entire nation called India, right? So you got to fix up the scope where I got to search for, right? So these are the two things which I got to make very clear. So when you attempt to search for something of your interest, then you become successful in finding it out. When you do it second time, then you can do it much faster, right? So you just imagine that in the first time you visit one campus, for example, in case you happen to visit the University of Mysore campus in the first time, reaching that University of Mysore campus probably appears to be a tougher job for you when you attempt to do it first time. But if you come for the second time, probably become much it finds much easier than the first time, because you are working for that problem second time with the knowledge and the experience of the previous. I mean, if you work for the same thing second time, if you do the search second time with the experience of the previous one, probably become much more effective, and not only effective but also efficient. And if you do it again third time, perhaps you become much better than the previous, and ultimately you end up not only being a knowledgeable person but also an experienced personality. Look, dears, it's not that my interest is to somehow end up acquiring the knowledge and skill, but I have to end up being an experienced personality. And beyond experienced personality, I want to be so wise so that I can make use of my knowledge as and when it is required, as and when it is required. And the process which puts which puts us into such an environment where I not only become an experienced but also a wise personality for the future generation. So such a process is not one-time search, it is repetitive search. It is not search but research. Because here the search is so important, because ultimately I got to do research. Probably must have heard of learn, relearn, right? You being teachers, I am sure that you have this habit of conducting 1 hour class and or at least a week class. After 4 to 5 hours of week class, perhaps you end up giving assignments to the students. I'm sorry that there are some people who are talking. People from Academic Staff College, HRDC, please. Hello, some Puttu Gowda something.
Mic mute ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, please.
Thank you.
Puttu Gowda something, please.
Sir, please continue.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. See that you end up giving some assignments to the students. What is the interest behind giving assignments to students? I'm sure that your interest is not that somehow you want them to answer because you don't know the answer. Your interest is to put them into not learn, because they learn in your lectures, they learn in your classes, but you want them to be into relearning when they go home. When they attempt to solve your assignments, they are not into learning, they are into relearning. Look, relearning is very important than the learning. Without relearning, learning will be of no use, because unless they practice, unless they pick it up again, unless they exhibit their individuality in learning again, right, this primary learning is of no use. So probably you heard of term called recognition. You say, I'm recognizing this person, right? Today we have biometrics to recognize people, right? What do you mean by recognize? It is recognition. It is cognition and then recognition. Cognition means something that you acquire and learn about some object of your interest. And recognition, in case if you come across with the same object in future, you have to recognize it. Look, cognition is for recognition, and recognition is because of cognition. Similarly here, search is for research later, and research is because of the first time search. Look at the mutual dependency between these two terminologies, search and research, and search. So search is important, but research is much more important. I mean, the term called is more important, right? And that's why in Indian scenario, on a lighter side, if I tell you, most of the husbands at home are called by wives, because they are more important for the family. And of course, vice versa also is true on the other end. Look at the research is a terminology which is is a process which puts us back into search and search again. And such a repetitive search can be called as search again. I mean, if you want to define the term called research with a single phrase, you can simply end up saying that it is search again. It could be, finding a new knowledge. It could be for moving from a known to an unknown, or it is to solve a problem. Whatever it's so independent of it, you can simply put it that the research is nothing but a search again, right? So when you attempt to do so, what do? What do you acquire? How do you acquire? These are all quite interesting, problems to be, or questions to be addressed. Let me go with these examples now. Look at here the slide, the picture which I am presenting on the slide. Probably most of you must have seen this, figure or the image in couple of magazines. If you have seen them already, assume that it is a re-seen. If it is the first time seeing, then assume that you want to experience re-seeing, advantages, then close your eyes for a while and then open it back and look at it back. Again, close your eyes for a while and open your eyes and see back. And you can exercise what is called re-seeing. So my interest is, the moment I got this, right? The moment I got this displayed in front of you people, what part of the image really has attracted you? Suddenly, right? You can unmute and answer.
Yes, sir.
No, which part of the picture has really attracted you, caught you suddenly?
Ear
Of that person. Fine, then.
Smile, sir. Old man.
The old man. The head of the old man? Is that the head of the old man?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
So smile, sir.
Smile of that old man, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lady, the lady.
Girl is standing there.
Yeah, girl is standing there.
Yeah, girl
Okay.
standing. The dog.
No, I don't want your continue explanation. Please look at it. My question is, the moment you had looked at it first time, suddenly what has really caught you? Not continuously looking at it. Perhaps if you continuously look at it, if you continue looking at it, then you will have a scope to dig out more and more attributes of this, right?
So first looking, we saw that the old man.
The moment you had seen it, you saw the old man. Yes. And if you continue looking at it, and I mean, research is not that one-time effort.
Yes, sir.
Research is a continuous effort. Please understand from this pictorial example, research is a continuous effort. It's not one-time effort. If you continue looking at it, if you continue putting your great effort, probably you will have an opportunity to find out even finer details on the topic of your interest, right? The moment you had looked at it, of course, you saw only the picture of a old man, the head of the old man, but the moment you continue looking at it, given is a scope for you a day to look at it, probably you can understand each pixel of this image, right? Each component of this image, right? Okay, I'll come to this picture again a little later. Now, what catches you? Suddenly what caught you?
One old man.
Elder persons.
Yeah, pay.
Older persons carrying the luggage.
Old man and old woman.
Yeah, couple.
Old couples.
Old couples.
Okay. Now?
A fairy girl. A fairy girl.
Young girl with the long hair.
Young girl with the long hair. Good. Anything else?
And then a lady of an 80-year-old.
80-year-old?
Old lady.
Old lady of 80 plus, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Good.
With wrinkles in her face.
That's okay. Don't explain that. I don't want you to attributize this picture. But I want
old lady
know,
as well as a.
what do you see here, right? What do you see suddenly?
Girl saying that side.
Yeah, girl saying that side. I mean, you see the left back of the girl, right?
Right.
Girl with neatly pressed hairstyle.
I understand. I told you, no, search is a process of finding out something of your interest, right? So you wanted to find the beauty of the girl, right? Okay. Anyway, good. Appreciate it. Let me come back to this picture. And dear colleagues, see that I just get you this simply projected in a different space in a relatively magnified version. Now I want you not to concentrate on the whole picture which I had shown you earlier, but want your mind to be well focused to only this segmented, a partitioned sub-image displayed aside. Focus on that and try to observe carefully and try to dig out something which you have never noticed earlier.
The old man?
No, forget about that. Look at this. On the right side, you have a segmented picture, right?
Yes. Woman with baby.
Yeah.
It is there.
There is a girl.
Woman with baby. Woman with baby.
There is a girl. Look at, there is a girl. Perhaps most of you have not noticed even that girl. The moment I got it cut and segmented, displayed reasonably with a little magnified version, you not only observe that there is a girl standing, but you also notice that she wore something in her hand, right?
Yeah.
Baby.
Yes, sir.
Look at why it is possible now to notice even such a finer detail that she wore something in her hand. It is because of the following reason. Number one, I had used my own tool to segment it and display it aside. And number two, I am now with a focused mind concentrating only on that, but without looking at the entire picture. I mean, look at when you want to do a good research, and if you want to be successful in finding out the finer details on the topic of your interest, you should not look at the whole mathematics, the whole physics, but you have to look at only the branch of it, a subfield of it, right? That's number one. That's what I wanted to say. Have a scope for your research. And number two, you have to well define what are the procedure to be adopted, what are the tools to be used to accomplish that, right? So here I used my tool, in case if I find it very difficult to read the handwritten or read the characters with my bare eyes, I go with my spectacle, right? Why is this spectacle is used? It's a tool where I can see that every object of my interest can be, enhanced and displayed in a scaled up version so that I feel comfortable reading through that. So that is what is called a tool. And in addition to that, you have to define what is the procedure to be adopted for learning activity. So in addition to making the objective and the scope of your research very clear, in the next step, you have to clearly define what are the procedure to be adopted, what are the tools to be used. Dear friends, my interest is with these pictorial examples is to present you the various steps involved in research and the various attributes associated with the research process, in addition to the attributes of a good researcher, a good learner, right? A researcher is supposed to be good because of his inculcation ability of couple of good attributes, quality attributes. What are those? My interest is to explain you all those attributes with the support of these pictorial examples. Look at in this picture, now we are capable of finding out that she wore something in her hand. Now my question is, what is supposed to be in her hand?
Baby.
A baby, fine. Anything else?
Maybe the baby has some other objects.
Some other object. What could be that?
Maybe.
Okay, listen to me now. Suppose if I present you the following story about that girl, and if I end up saying that, dear friend, see that I have been seeing this girl since her childhood. She is my neighbor, and I have been seeing her for the last 18 years. She is now young, and she has come up from such a poor family background, and her duties every morning is to go to the field after her breakfast, taking all along dozens of sheep, and then allowing those sheep to spend time and eat well in the field, and bringing them back in the evening. And while bringing them back in the evening, she is expected to carry the grass on her head, and let's assume that she is all the way through her home. She is all the way back her home, right, in the evening. And what is supposed to be in her hand now?
Lambs.
Sheep.
Lamb, a baby sheep,
Lambs.
right?
Baby sheep. Lambs.
Baby sheep. One of the sheep perhaps must have delivered a baby sheep called lamb, and she is carrying that lamb back all along, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, instead of narrating such a story, if I narrate the following story in front of you, look at, she is a 18-year-old and got married just 1.5 years back. And now she is standing in front of her hut. And what you see in the background is the roof of the hut. And a very, very small hut, made up of, the roof is made up of only the grass material. Now she's standing in front of her hut holding something in her hand, having got married just 18 months back. Then what is supposed to be in her hand?
It's a baby.
A baby. Look at, your interpretation becomes no different.
Yeah.
Why? The reason is the background stories are different. I mean, whatever you have to label, any result that you obtain, anything that you notice, anything that you observe, in case you want to label it properly, you have to have a background knowledge. Without that background knowledge, you cannot think of giving it a justice for labeling of your research result. If at all you want to give a proper justice while labeling or assessing your research result, dear friends, please don't think that research is a process of just tabulating the results. No, it is not a process of tabulating the result. It is reasoning out the result. Research is a process of reasoning out the result that you obtain. Why it has come out, what is the reason for it, what is supposed to be that, and giving it a great justice while properly labeling the result is really very important. And you can do so only when you have a strong background knowledge. And that background knowledge could be acquired by attending through a couple of marathon lectures by experts as a part of coursework. Hope you appreciate me telling you that what is the importance of coursework, that most of our institutions today insisting that the researcher has to undergo through a coursework. So coursework is to provide you a strong background of study so that you will have some great knowledge to label the results obtained. Okay, so that's what is. Now my next is, probably most of you are not noticed this man standing here. Look at, I just got you that segmented cut and displayed version here. Now I think you see there is an old man standing, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Some of you must have noticed it, but most of you must not have noticed it the moment I got this picture displayed in front of you. Now my question is, suppose if you stand or myself stand, imagine that myself is standing. Do you think that this man is standing as comfortably as I can stand?
No, no, sir.
No, why?
Because he's aged.
Because he is aged. Thank madam. Thank you very much. You are accepting me that I am young, you know. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, look at, though it appears to be funny, I intentionally have put you that question because I wanted to let you know that sometimes attending to the problem of your research is really tough directly. There is a problem P which you are attempting to solve, but you are really finding it very difficult. Then don't continue attempting on the same P. Try to express that problem P in terms of another. Try to express the problem P by P dash, which is equivalent to that. So that the P dash can be solved so easily, but P is found to be difficult. So the moment you got this P dash solved, let's say X, the solution is obtained. The moment you got the solution X for the P dash, you can express the solution Y of P in terms of X of the P dash. Hope you are understanding that. For example, imagine that I have a 3-inch diameter iron rod of 1 meter. Just think of an iron rod of 1 meter length of 3 inches diameter. Very tough to bend it. I really find it very difficult to bend it. But still I got to accomplish it. What do? Then I just eat it at the location, at the position where I got to bend it up. The moment I heat it, it becomes smoothened. Once it becomes smoothened, I can easily bend it. Once I bend it, I go for cooling it up. I mean, what I have done is, I got that rod transformed to a different space where my process could be accomplished easily and then reverse it back. So this is what I am looking at it. Sometimes you may find your problem to be very tough to attend, but still you want to work on it. Then you have to diversify your thinking so that you find all such equivalent problems. I mean, all such other problems which are equivalent to it, in the sense that once you can find the solution for these problems, probably the solutions for the original problem can be expressed in terms of the solutions of these equivalent problems. That is supposed to be a great, attribute or a confidence or the knowledge that I expect from a researcher. So with this, pictorial example of a old man standing in front of you is uncomfortably because you said he's aging. In case he had asked you directly a question that, madam, do you really find me as young? Probably you must have hesitated answering, or you must have ended up saying that, no, sir. That's why I just have put to the question that he is not comfortably standing the way in which I probably stand. Then you ended up saying that he's aging, sir. Indirectly answered that I am not aged, right? Look at. On the other hand, when I had asked you this question, why is uncomfortable, you just have answered in this conventional manner that he is aging. His age matters. Everybody knows that, As person grows up and he becomes older and older, probably becomes uncomfortable in every aspect of his life. That's known fact, but that should not be the way in which a researcher has to attend to the problem. Look at, on the other hand, if I recollect those days when I had displayed this in front of youngsters who wanted to pursue their PhD with me, who at the time of selecting a candidate, one candidate simply mentioned, "Sir, look at, just before presenting this old man, you presented that young girl. And while presenting and explaining on that young girl holding a baby, you said what really matters is a background. I mean, what is learnt earlier is really helpful for labeling the future. I mean, I'm now making use of that. Before you present this old man, you presented that young girl. And now I understood that old man is standing in front of the young girl. Even I, being young, really find it difficult, uncomfortable to stand in front of a young girl. How do you expect that old man to be comfortable standing, sir, in front of a young girl? Look at in the picture, old man is standing in front of a young girl. We cannot expect that old man to be comfortable, sir. Do you appreciate? Though it appears to be a funny way of answering, I really appreciated him because he is in a position to think unconventionally. A researcher has to think unconventional. However silly it is, however funny it is, researchers should have a mind capable of diversifying thoughts. The moment a problem is given to the mind of a researcher, the researcher should be able to think for the problem in all possible dimensions, all possible angles, in all possible, views, so that you end up conceiving it, you end up perceiving it in possible directions. That is what is called diversification of thought. So you should be able to diversify your thinking in all possible direction. Exactly like, in case if I am given a cup of water, where cup is made up of a glass material. In case if I drop that cup, it falls on the floor. The moment it falls on the floor, what happens? It gets broken down. The moment it gets broken down, the water inside the cup doesn't stay there itself. It gets spread across. But while spreading it across, it doesn't go like a river from one direction to the other direction. It gets spread across in all possible 360 directions. Similarly, the moment a problem is given to the mind of a researcher, that mind should get this spread in possible directions, looking for possible solutions, right? That is supposed to be the great good quality attribute of a researcher. So probably you must have seen a couple of face images here, right? Let me not explain all these because already I've taken much time to explain this, but quite interesting is, look at, what is this? What is this?
Dog.
Here, left bottom. What can be that?
Dog.
Dog sleeping on a road? Anything else, please?
It can also be a sheep, sir.
It can also be any animal, perhaps. Okay, an animal sleeping on a road. Okay. Next. It could be the right palm of the old man, no? Old man. This could be the chest. This could be the left hand. This could be the right palm, no? Right hand of the old man. Okay, on the chest. He holds it on the chest. Suppose I present this. See, friends, this is the image which I captured in my camera when I happened to be in the United States of America. Please understand that. I'm again giving you the background story. I just got this picture captured when I was in America. Probably you must have visited America or heard of discipline in America that even cows are not allowed to walk on a street. Then we cannot expect a dog at all. Right? If I say that this is the picture which I captured when I was in America, then what is the possibility that there is a dog sleeping on the road? Zero, right?
Sir, it's cat or dog?
Pardon?
Sir, it's cat or dog? Is it cat?
Whatever it's so. No animal is supposed to be allowed on a street.
In the road.
Okay.
Yes.
On the other hand, if I tell you that I had been to Delhi day before yesterday, and nearby Connaught Circle, I could capture this picture. Then, what is the chance that there is a dog sleeping on the road?
Definitely.
Definitely. It's not that definitely you would say
Yeah,
that. Then you will ask me a
definitely
question,
it will
sir,
be.
why only one dog is sleeping? I expected many more, right?
Probably, sir. Probably a dog.
Yes. I mean, it's not that single dog I'm expecting. I can expect much more, many more dogs, right? Look at what is the difference? The difference is where is it from? I mean, the source. What is the source which has given this? Most of the times, dear friends, we just end up collecting the data without knowing about who is giving us the data. What is the education qualification of that person giving us the data? What is the parameters of the sensors which is generating the data? Without knowing much about the parameters of the source of data, we are just working on data. While working on data, you got to also take into account in certain circumstances the parameters of the source of the data. Source of the data is also very important. See, friend, on the other hand, if I ask you one or two questions like this, please you can unmute your audio and suddenly answer to that. Suppose somebody watches me now, myself, standing on a dais, talking to the participants in an offline classroom. That person is on a corridor, seeing me standing on the dais in a classroom environment where participants are seated. I am continuously talking, I continuously talk for 3 hours. What does he refer me as?
Speaker.
A speaker. Speaker. Suppose the same man looks at me talking continuously for 3 hours without having any participant in front of me. Then?
Crazy.
I mean, suddenly he will call for an ambulance, right?
Yes. Definitely.
Look at myself, same. My qualification is same. My personality is same. My physical appearance is same. My dress code is same. My content of delivery is same. My slides are same. English, the language is same. Everything is same. One is with the presence of participants. Another one is with the absence of participants. But I get differently labeled. In first case, I am considered to be a very respectful person called resource person, whereas in the second case, I am considered to be something wrong man, right? A man.
Mentally disordered.
Disorder, right?
Yes, sir.
Why? What matters? Not me, not my attribute, not my appearance, not my action, but the secondary people like participants, right?
Participants.
Look, most of the times it's not that the primary data really matters. The secondary data, the data which comes along with the primary data also decides the labeling of the results. Unfortunately, in most of the scenario, most of the researchers forget the secondary data and concentrate only on the primary data. But secondary data is equally important. Please remember that. We should not neglect that. One is contextual data, another one is a secondary data, one is a source of data. These are all very, very important. Suppose the person sees me standing in front of a railway station. Suppose the same person sees me standing in front of a railway station, then?
Somewhere.
I'm a passenger, no? I'm a
passenger, a traveler.
Traveler, a passenger. Suppose same person says, sees me laying down on a cot inside a hospital.
Patient.
If the same person sees myself going on a walk along with my kids, then?
As a father.
As a father. Parents.
If the same person sees myself going for a walk along with my wife, then?
Husband.
Husband, right? If the same person sees myself going for a walk along with my mother,
Son.
look at myself carries a different label, not because of myself, but because of the people who are surrounding me, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
That is the importance of contextual data in research and understanding the data. Look, Research is a process of, finding out something of my interest. But while finding out something of your interest, you should not have any prejudice. You have to find it independently. You have to find it independent of others. But while doing so, you cannot concentrate only on the primary of your interest. You have to look at what is coming along, what is in addition to that, where is it from all this, right? Suppose suddenly, all of a sudden, somebody comes to your home now because you're online and serves you with a small spoon, a drop of water. There is a cup of water and a spoon, a very small spoon. He starts serving you. And what do you do?
They came from the temple.
Yeah, look at you. Simply assume that they must have come from Tirupati. But you don't know. You must have collected that water in front of your home only. Coming out of a tap, coming out of a tap. Right? Had you seen that man collecting that water in front of your residence, coming out of a tap, and had he served that, then you must have simply washed your hand, is it?
Yeah, correct, sir.
Look at the spirit with which you accept it. The respect with which you accept the drop of water all depends on where is it from. Is it from Tirupati or from your tap? That is the source. Whether the statement is given by Nakshatrika or Arishchandra, the statement is same. If it is given by Arishchandra, 100% true. If it is given by Nakshatrika, it is 100% false. Look at it. It's not that you have to collect what is the statement and end up working on that statement. But you got to know who has given you that. What is the source? So source also matters. Friends, with this pictorial example, my interest is just to highlight the importance of various components of research, various attributes of research, and various other issues associated with the research. You should never forget or neglect source of data, secondary data, contextual data, and so on, right? In addition to primary data, you have to treat them equally well. Of course, there are many more components to be explained with a couple of interesting phenomena. Fine. Let's move on to the next one. When you looked at this picture, perhaps you had seen only an old couple,
Yes, first.
So you may see now that somebody holding his hand, somebody playing a guitar, right? Can you see that?
Yes,
And
sir.
there is a
We are seeing another two persons.
Yes, I'm live.
Right? In between.
Glass.
Right? Now my question is, forget about all these three. My question is, do you think that this old couple love each other or hate each other?
Love each other.
Love each other.
Love each
How do
other.
you argue?
They are smiling, sir.
They are smiling.
The conditions of the
Nice.
Background is needed, sir.
There is a background noise, please. Those who have got background noise, please mute your audio. Don't unmute it at all, please. Please. Others? How do you say they love each other? What is a justification for your answer?
Both are peeping each other in their eyes.
Both of them are
Seeing each other in their eyes.
seeing each other. Just seeing each other doesn't mean that they love each other. They may hate also. They'll look at very angry. Look at the space. Look at the face of that old lady.
Seeing each other with
Angry.
a smile face.
Huh?
Seeing each other with smile face.
Seeing each other with
a smile face.
So Granny is
please see
smiling.
that. Please see the left hand of that old
Sir.
man. Appears to be hugging, right?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is how you have got to generate
Holding.
the justification.
Justification.
Justification should not be brought from your experience. Are you understanding me that? Justification or the evidences that you generate, the evidences that you collect should not be from a different space. It should not be from a different domain. What you try to quote as an evidence for your extraordinary claim should also be an extraordinary, but has got to be collected from the same. I mean, before you go for it, you just have hypothesized that, oh, they are loving each other. Or you must have hypothesized that they are hating each other. Whether hate or love, it doesn't matter for me. But let me present you now Whatever you just have put it, and finally want to argue, that's called hypothesis. I mean, that hypothesis is a statement that you could guess. It could be the possibility. And such a guess is what is called hypothesis. A guess towards solution is called an hypothesis. But while guessing towards solution, you should not make a random guess. You have to guess with a background of education. And such a guess with a background of education is called educated guess. And such an educated guess is what is called hypothesis. Look, when a problem objective is given to you, you have to hypothesize that objective. And while attempting to hypothesize it, you have to make use of your background of education. And you have to generate the hypothesis with such a background of education. And such an educated guess is called hypothesis. So work out possibly many hypotheses and try to prove one or the other with extraordinary evidences. And while doing so, please be independent of prejudice. A researcher should have a mind independent of prejudice. Okay? Probably on the other hand, if I quote you that the same boy who answered that old man problem in an unconventional way has also answered in an unconventional way, but he wanted to prove that this old man is not angry, sir. It for me appears that he is trying to convince this old lady, because that old lady appears to be angry against this old man. Then I said, why? Then suddenly he answered, sir, look at his ear. Look at his ear. The ear holds picture of a young girl, There is a photography that he carries in his ear. And that photography is definitely not this old lady's photography, perhaps. And because he carries somebody's photo, obviously this old lady is angry against him. And that's why he is trying to hug her and convince her that and requesting her to be sorry, right? Look at this is how he presented. Then I said, you have some unconventional way of thinking. Okay, you have to, when a problem is given to you, you have to hypothesize it. And once you hypothesize it, you have to generate the evidences for the hypothesis to be proved independent of prejudice. And while doing so, please think of diversifying your thought so that you will attend to the problem in possible, or you attack the problem. Look, some king wants to fight against another king. While fighting against another king, obviously, sets up the environment so that all of a sudden he can attack that opponent from all directions. While playing chess, what do you try to do? You try to attack that queen or the king of the opponent not in one direction, but in possibly many directions. And such a method of setting up your mind to attack the problem in hand in multi-dimensional directions is what is called ability to diversify thoughts. And such a diversification of thought is one of the greatest quality attribute of a good researcher. Okay, now let's look at this picture. I'm really happy that some of you have noticed that there is a young girl looking, you are looking her from back left side, so that what you see here is a ear, and what you see this here is the nose, and here in the top forehead, and this is the eye spot, this is the beard, this is where it's supposed to be the mouth, etc. A young girl, and this is the neck of the young girl. But whatever you see, the neck of the young girl supposed to be the mouth of a old body, old lady, and whatever you see, the beard of that, beard of the young girl supposed to be the nose of the old lady, and whatever which appears to be the ear of the young girl is the eye of the old lady, right? I mean, it is not only a young girl, but also a old lady. And this young girl and a old lady are imposed, are integrated in such a manner that I cannot see only young girl without seeing the old lady. I cannot see the old lady without having the young girl in the picture. If I erase young girl, old lady will disappear. If I erase the old lady appearance, then young girl will also disappear. I mean, presence of a young girl requires the presence of a old lady, and presence of a old lady in this picture requires the presence of a young girl. I mean, these young and old have been integrated, have been assimilated to that extent that there shall not be any divorce. There shall not be any separation between these two. And that is what is the relationship. I am just explaining you with this example, pictorial example, that that is supposed to be the affinity between a research, a younger, and a supervisor, a old in mind. This PhD is because of a integration of a research supervisor and a research scholar. Research scholar, not necessarily by age. He may be older than the supervisor by age, but in mind should be young and dynamic. Whereas research supervisor, however, he is young in age, but because he has acquired already PhD and started rushing toward that, he is already old in the technology, old in this literature. He is old and he is mature. And that maturity is what is called old. Seniority is what is called old. And this dynamic personality, yet to start his activity, is called young, not by age. And PhD is supposed to be the integration of these two, agglomeration of these two, right? And there shall not be any there shall not be any separation between these two people, and they must match with their frequencies. That is what is a great PhD. The great PhD can happen only when there is a high degree of cohesiveness, high degree of synchronization between the frequencies of minds of these two people, a research scholar and a supervisor. This picture I have intentionally taken it up just to explain the relationship between Guru and Shishya. So with this, if I just list out the things which I indirectly covered up, probably what you see, the 8 points on the left side are the great attributes of the research process. There must be tools to be defined, procedures to be identified. That's what I said in the beginning. And as I already told you very clearly that when you talk about the search or a research, you should make objective of study and scope well defined. And you cannot start with the always fundamental. You got to assume at some level knowledge is known. And because, yes, somebody said that it is moving from known to an unknown. What is that known? That's called assumption. And where I get to go toward, that's what is called hypothesis. Okay. And then contextual data, I narrated the importance of it in addition to what is called source of data. These are all very important points to be remembered. On the other hand, what you see on the right side, another 8 points, 8 bullets. Those are the attributes of a good researcher. A good researcher should be capable of diversifying its thoughts and should have a focused mind. That's what you observed in the case of that young girl example. You know, when you attempted to look at it with a focused mind, you could decode some more details. And then you must have a strong background knowledge. You should be very patient. In my opinion, a PhD, P refers patience. You have to pick up great patience. And you being a researcher should allow your subconscious to be active throughout your life. While sleeping itself, your subconscious should work for the research problem. And you should be systematic in your approach. You should be committed. You be ambitious and determined. I mean, very, very ambitious. These are all quality attributes of a great or a good researcher for that matter, right? This is what we touched upon. So if I come back, I just have started telling you that research is not, got to be defined in a paragraph, but in a single terminology, you can end up saying that it is a search game. Now, if you want to elaborate that to put into a single sentence, then you can put it as follows. And before that, my questions are, look, friends, for the last roughly about 1 hour, please answer frankly. Were you active or passive?
Active, sir, because interaction is going on.
For the last 1 hour, were you active? You were active or you were passive? You were an inactive?
Active, sir.
Active, sir.
Active. Being active, what did you do?
Listen carefully to you.
Just you listened?
No, sir.
Observe
I have noted down.
things.
Sir, I have noted down your point, sir.
Yeah, you have noted down the point. Just you have heard of and noted down?
Sir, observe.
Observe?
Interactive, sir.
Interacted?
Yeah.
Dynamic? Right? I was asking questions, you were asking questions, you were answering questions, myself was answering questions, right?
Yes.
I mean, we had an active interaction. During this interaction, somebody used to ask questions, somebody used to answer questions, somebody used to ask and answer questions, right?
It was the involvement with you, sir.
We were into learning, we were into inquiry, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, what I did for the last 1 hour, it is a research on research, right? It is a research on research. I did a research on research. I just went on searching for, different way of defining what is called research. I mean, such a process, such an active process of inquiry is what is called research. Right? Such an active process of inquiry is what is called research. And that being, look at this, an inquiry means you got to ask questions and find solution to the questions. And such a process of finding answers to the unknown question, being an active, is what is called research. I mean, if you want to put it in a single term, you can end up saying that search again. If you want to put it in a single sentence, you just say that it is an active process of inquiry. You need not say that finding something novel, finding solution to the problem, right? Something inventing, nothing doing. You simply say that any active process of inquiry is called research. And that being an active process of inquiry should meet with the 2 added conditions, attributes. One is, it should be systematic in nature. Systematic in the sense that if you are, willing to reproduce the result, should be able to do so. I mean, my lecture was systematic. In case if I am, requested to deliver the lecture for another set of participants, perhaps my language may be different, my examples could be different, but I go in the same style, same way. I reproduce the same thing. If anything which is reproducible, then I say it is systematic. So the research process is supposed to be reproducible, should be systematic in nature. And in addition to that, it should be diligent. Diligent in the sense that because you have put in great effort for the last 3 years, after having put in such a great effort for the last 3 years, and if you recollect that, the energy that you have spent on, the effort that you have put in, and recollect and assess yourself, then you must feel pleasure, not pressured. You must feel pleasured. If I feel pleasure about my actions for the last 3 years, then I say that process was diligent, right? After completing this 1.5 hour lecture, 90 minutes lecture for you people, if I sit idle thinking on my lecture, the way in which I could convince you people on the terminological research, if I feel happy about myself, then I say that what I did was a diligent process. I expect this research process to be diligent always, right? It should not be a painful, it should be a pleasure doing, right? Though it is a pressure, but still it should be a pleasure doing. That's what is called a diligent process, right? So this research process could be a discovery type of research. This research process could be interpretation type of research. This could be a revising type of research. What is this discovery type of research? Discovery. Something is known to you already. It was existing. But unfortunately, because it is known to you, currently you are not aware. It was known, assume that it was known to somebody earlier. But that generation people have gone out and they have not transformed their intellectual ability or knowledge to others. And new generation have really no knowledge on that. But somebody discovered it. Discovered it means somebody brought it to the notice. I mean, it is hidden, not visible. The moment you make that hidden and visible, a hidden one, a visible one, then I say you discovered it. I mean, it is closed, you disclosed it. And your research can also be that, right? Your research could also be that. Who actually found America? Who discovered America? Who discovered?
And Columbus.
Columbus. Does it mean that he was the first man in America?
He explored.
No, there were people lived in America. That's number one.
People lived in America.
There were people lived in America earlier to him. That is number one. Number two, he found a way to America, right? He discovered a path to reach America. That doesn't mean that he was the first man who found that path to reach America. Some seniors of Columbus must have gone into America already, but must have got settled down in America without coming back. And number two, the Columbus not only had gone there and came back, but the moment he came back, he has just got it circulated across. Are you understanding my interest now, please?
Yes, sir.
I mean, Columbus discovered that path to America for these people who were not aware of that path. And not only that, he discovered simply, but he came back and circulated it, canvassed it, analyzed it, documented. I mean, look at what is more important. Not that research, it is a documentation of research. Please mute your audios.
Mr. Mallikarjun, please mute your audio.
Sorry. Yes, sir. Yes, sorry.
The moment you unmute your audio to answer my question, the moment you completed it, please mute your audio, right? Look at the Columbus identified a path to reach America, but earlier to him, somebody must have already gone into America, but unfortunately he did not come back and he has not documented it. Look at, dear friends, don't ever forget documenting your research thoughts. Otherwise, your name will not appear in future in case if somebody finds it out. So such a type of research is what is called discovery type. Interpretation means you just collect some knowledge and try to put it in a different style. That's what I have been doing for the last 1 hour. I am trying to interpret the terminology called research, right? That's also wonderful research. Okay, so yes, especially any statement in natural language can be interpreted in multiple directions, multiple ways. If I just simply say that, look, dear friends, I had not been to Bangalore along with my wife yesterday. What do you understand? I simply say that, I had not been to Bangalore yesterday along with my wife. Then what's your understanding? Some of you may understand that, I went to Bangalore, but not along with my wife. Somebody may understand that I did not go to Bangalore, must have gone to some other place along with my wife. And somebody may understand that I had been to Bangalore alone. Or somebody may understand that I had been to Bangalore, but along with somebody, but not with my wife. Look at. These are the different ways of interpreting and generate the result, interpret it in different style, or think of existing known knowledge and putting it in a different interpretation so that every interpretation find its own applications for the society later. That could be one way of one type of research. Another could be revising facts. Revising facts is a wonderful research type. I have carefully avoided usage of invention. Generally, I being a mathematician don't believe in invention because everything is existing. Only thing what I really find as a new one is supposed to be the transformed version of that older existing. It's only a transformed. So that's why I have carefully avoided invention. But if you really crazy and really being fascinated towards the term called invention, you can use it as another type of research. Revising fact is something that you collect the facts, one or more facts, facts means something true forever, something which is true forever. It will never be a contradictory. So collect such facts A, B, C, etc. and integrate all facts together into single and put it in a different style. And that the one which you revised out of so many perhaps appears to be much appealing than the existing, right? I say Rama is a brother of Lakshmana and Lakshmana is a brother of Bharata. If I simply end up saying only those two, then I want you to revise that, all three are brothers. I never stated clearly that all three are brothers. I simply stated that Rama is a brother of Lakshmana, Lakshmana is a brother of Bharat. The moment I said these two facts, then you have to integrate together and revise it. So these three are the brothers. That is what is called. That doesn't mean that you can use the transitivity rule for all, no? Like if I say that, a teacher loves the daughter and student loves the teacher, doesn't mean that student loves the teacher's daughter. No, that you cannot. I mean, this transitivity rule cannot be applied everywhere, right? Then which is that inference engine? How do I generate a new fact out of the available? What should be the engine which is capable of deriving out a new fact out of available? That coming out for such a wonderful inference engine could be a great research, right? So irrespective of it, whether you do a discovery type or do an interpretation type or a revising type, basically we talk about two types of research. One is a basic research, another one is an applied research. A basic research is the research, the one which is carried out by like Newton, Pythagorean, which stay for a long years of period, which are generally known for contributing to the knowledge space. They uplift the knowledge base. It is called basic research. They are also called pure research or fundamental research. On the other hand, whatever the knowledge being generated because of the basic research, and that knowledge has got to be made use of to make every citizen's life comfortable. For making the societal application possible, we have to do another type of research, and that is what is called applied research. Applied research tries to find solution to a problem, and it makes practical applications possible and feasible, and it is all in all applied, right? So these are the two varieties or the basic types of research. One is pure fundamental, responsible for creating a new knowledge, whereas the other one is tries to make use of the existing created knowledge, and makes the practical application possible. Today I have a problem. The moment COVID-19 started, appearing, then the education is started worrying how to offer the education for the 1 year, right? Should we stop? Should we cut down this education, right? Should we declare it as a null education academic year? Then the committee decided to go with make use of the technology and thinking of establishing online education paradigm. Look at, they have not created a new knowledge. Technology was existing, Wi-Fi connectivity was existing, internet connectivity was existing, concepts were well known, but not adopted. And the moment the COVID-19 problem started coming in, pandemic situation started arising, then we all have found a solution to a great problem of how to offer education in spite of COVID-19. And that is what making practical applications possible. Today we are enjoying with that. And whatever the online education paradigm we just got suddenly adopted, it's also because of the research. It is not a fundamental, it is an applied research. But what is fundamental? The computer scientist who created a data communication, who created internet connectivity, who has thought of communicating between two computers, that was fundamental. And that exists for a long time. And this online education exists as long as there is a COVID-19 pandemic situation. The moment it goes off, probably we just drop this online and go to the offline classes, right? Look at pure research is for a original long time, but applied research only for a period as long as that need is required. So this is the major difference between pure and applied. These are the basic two types of research. Let me put a break now for about 10 to 15 minutes. Have a cup of tea and come back assembled at 11:45. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, dear participants, please be online. I have an announcement now. Can I speak to course ID number 65? Can I speak to course ID number 86?
Yes, sir.
Who is this?
Srikanth Rathod.
Srikanth?
Srikanth Rathod. Sir?
Course ID ಎಷ್ಟಿಂದು?
Sir, 086. 86.
ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಾ? ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಾ?
ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಸರ್, ಮಾಡಿದೆ. Hello.
ಗುರುಡೇಗೌಡ, ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All the participants are requested to mute the speaker. Unnecessarily don't open on the speakers or audio, please. Only whenever the resource person asks you to raise questions or something else for discussion purpose, then only you have to open the audio. Okay, otherwise don't. Okay, now I am speaking with whom? 65 or 86? Hello? Who is 86?
Srikanth Rathod.
Srikanth Rathod. Why you are
Yes.
not put on the video since 10 o'clock?
Sir?
Video on ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಸರ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೊತ್ತು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ.
ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ? Maybe tomorrow I wish to wind up this program. It's not necessary to conduct this program. Okay, it's necessary for you people, not for me. Okay, if this is the attitude from your side, I will going to wind up this session, because there is a provision in HRDC guidelines wherein which if the participants are not in accordance with the guidelines or conditions put forward by the HRDC, the program will be winded up at any point of time. Okay, that was the provision we have. If that is the case, why don't I mind to wind up the session or wind up the program tomorrow? Okay, ನನಗೆ ಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಈ ತರ ಇದ್ದಾಗ? What about 65? Today is the last instruction or the direction I am giving. It was the last chance to you all. If it is repeated, definitely some of the participants will be removed from the program or the program will be winded up. Okay, ನಮಗೇನು ಉಪಯೋಗ ಇಲ್ಲ ಈ ತರ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ನನಗೇನು ಲಾಭ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಿಗೂ ಲಾಭ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೀವು ಇಷ್ಟ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರಾ? ನೀವು ಬೇರೆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಟೀ ಬ್ರೇಕಲ್ಲಿ ಲಂಚ್ ಬ್ರೇಕಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೋಗಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲುಕ್ಔಟ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅವರ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ಕೆಲವ್ರು ಗಮನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲೇನೋ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲೇನೋ ತಿನ್ನೋದು. ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ನೀವು ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇನೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ದಿ ಡೆಕೋರಮ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಸೆಷನ್. ಟೀ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಲಂಚ್ ಬ್ರೇಕಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇನಾದ್ರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಆದರೆ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅವರ್ಸ್ ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ದಿ ಡೆಕೋರಮ್. ನೀವು ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಕಾಣೋದು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತೀರಾ, ನನಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತೀರಾ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟಾಫ್ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಎವ್ರಿ 15 minutes ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್, ಎವ್ರಿ 15 minutes ಒನ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟಾಫು, ಅವ್ರು ಯಾರು ಅಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಒಬ್ಬನೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾಣೋದು. ಅವರು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇದೆ. ನೀವೇನೋ ತುಂಬಾ ಜಾಣತನ ಮಾಡಿ ಅತಿ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಓಡಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು. ಎವ್ರಿ 15 minutes ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅವರು ಅಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ತಗೋತಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ತರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಾನು ಬಂದು ನಿಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಸರಿ ನಿಲ್ವ ಅಂತ. ಈಗ ಹೂ ಇಸ್ 179? Who is 179?
Yes, me, sir.
Yanavira Swami. Video yaak on madilla?
Sir.
Video yaak on madilla?
Sir, ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ಸರ್, ನೋಡಿದೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ.
Video on ಮಾಡಿದ್ರ 10 to 11:15. That's my question. Say yes or no?
Sir, I will.
ನನಗೆ ಕಾರಣ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಸಣ್ಣ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ತರ ಸರ್ ನೋಡದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟ, ಇವ್ನು ಗಿಂಜಿಬಿಟ್ಟ, ಈ ತರ ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಿಲ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಗಳು ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. Being a degree college teacher, behave like a degree college teacher. That's all. What about 86? I mean 65, sorry. 65, 86, and I already put the information in the WhatsApp group stating that if you put off the video during the class hours, that will be considered as absent. So accordingly, in this session 179, 65 and 86 are absent. Okay, like that yesterday also I have recorded. Every session it will be recorded. If the number of absents are 4 or more than 4, you will be removed without giving information. That starts from tomorrow. Okay, today is the last time I am giving the advice. Okay, it's your lookout whether you want to retain this program or tomorrow it will be winded up. That's your lookout. Thank you.